Hey guys, today I have another coloring book video, coloring book review, and these are actually for two different coloring books. On the left I have Color Paris, and on the right I have Color New York. I'm going to be grouping this review together because basically this is the same book. They have pretty much the same qualities other than this is for Paris and this is from New York. Also, before I forget, I was sent both of these books for free from the publisher, so thank you to them for sending them to me. However, as always, I will be sharing both the positives as well as the negatives in this review, so definitely stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of my coloring book videos in the future. So first, let me just give you a brief overview. So basically what these books are is they each have 20 pictures from the city. So here we have some from the Paris book. So some great pictures from each of those cities. Here is in New York. So now let's get into what I specifically like and I don't like about these books. So first of all, what I like about them is they really have some, super beautiful imagery in here, very, very detailed pictures. This would really make an awesome gift for anyone who lives in these cities or who enjoys traveling to these places. I think this would be perfect and really could be a unique gift to give someone, even if they're not necessarily like, a hardcore coloring person. I think if someone's from New York or from Paris or maybe recently went on a trip to one of these places, I think this could be an awesome gift. So I think that's great. Also, these books are really meant for, and we have some fold out pictures that I forgot to show. So these books are really great if you are someone who wants to be able to color in here and then take the pages out and frame them or, do something else with them. So every single page has these perforated edges, which is really awesome if that's something that you like. Also, everything for the most part, other than maybe the fold out pages, are one-sided. So you don't have to worry about like smudging and smearing onto the other side or, picking which side that you want to use to frame or anything like that. Everything is, one-sided, which personally I think is a really big benefit. And I do appreciate when coloring book companies do that. Now let's talk about a few things that I don't necessarily love about these books. So I think these books are great, as I said, if you want to be able to take the pages out and frame them or do something with them, but they're not quite as good if you want to just keep them in the book and not take them out. So because the perforated edges, it is a little bit difficult to actually color all the way into the crease because the coloring image does go past the perforation. So it was pretty difficult. This is the one that I did complete of the Eiffel Tower. And it was difficult to color all the way into the crease, which was a bit of a pain. Also, if you're interested in just keeping the pictures in the book, the description of the picture is not on the same page. It's actually on the back, which is good if you're tearing them out because then everything will be on the same physical sheet of paper. However, if you're interested in keeping it in the book and being able to flip through, it's kind of weird to have on this side the Arc de Triomphe and here you have the Eiffel Tower. I mean, that's a little bit weird if you're planning on keeping it in. So I think this book is really better meant for someone who is interested in taking the pictures out. Also, there's not a ton of variety in these books. So each book only has 20 images, which is relatively a small amount for a coloring book. Also, there's not a ton of variety in terms of the intricacy. So basically every picture is super intricate, and if that's something that you like, then I think that's awesome. However, it doesn't really give much variety in terms of maybe you want to just color something and have it done really fast. For me, I know I spent a long time on this picture. I tried to pick something that had kind of more white space that I thought I could get done quickly in order to do this review, but this took me several weeks, and of course I wasn't coloring like all the time or anything like that, but it did take quite a substantial amount of time, more so than I thought, to finish this, just because there's so many little tiny areas to color in. And so definitely keep that in mind. I know some people, they like to just color and have it be done that day or a few days. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe you know, I'm just a really slow colorer, but you know, the pictures are pretty intricate, so definitely keep that in mind. And because of that, I did have a bit of difficulty with my image that I colored in. Let's get back to it. So this is obviously the picture of the Eiffel Tower, and I was using Prismacolor Premier colored pencils, which normally I absolutely love. If you're interested in seeing my review of those pencils, I will link that video up above here. And you know, I normally absolutely love my Prismacolor pencils, but they were a bit of a pain to use in this book because of the so many little tiny details. I was constantly having to sharpen my pencils because Prismacolor does have a bit of a softer lead. So I totally wore out my pencils to the absolute nub for a few of them because I was constantly having to sharpen them. So I don't necessarily think that Prismacolor, as much as I do love them, is necessarily the best option for this book. I think maybe going with a harder tip pencil or maybe pens would be better for this book. But, you know, of course, there's no right or wrong way to color, so definitely whatever works for you is what you should do. So that's it for Color New York and Color Paris. Overall, I do think that they are nice coloring books. You know, they're good size, high quality coloring books. I think they're really great if you are someone who has some sort of connection with these cities. I think, you know, if you are from New York or like to visit Paris or any of those things, then this would be awesome to have or to give as a gift. And they're really great as well if you want to take the pictures out and frame them or do anything else with them. If you're interested in purchasing these books, I will put the link below to find them and to get more information about them. They are not affiliate links. I am in no way getting paid for your use of the link, so definitely feel free to use that if you're interested in checking these books out further. And before I forget, definitely subscribe down below. I absolutely appreciate it, and you will be the first to know when I publish any new coloring book reviews or any other of my videos. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.